Well, beleaguered Republican Congressman Devin Nunes, the chair of the House Intelligence Committee, has temporarily stepped down from his leadership role, that's of his committee's probe into Russia. Nunes made the decision yesterday following the announcement by the House Ethics Committee they were looking into allegations that he made unauthorized disclosures of classified information. Nunes has been under fire since it was revealed he secretly met with officials on White House grounds last month to review intelligence documents and then later briefed the president on what he saw. In a statement, Nunes said he was temporarily stepping aside, acting in, quote, the best interests of the committee, but he asserted the ethics complaints against him were, and we quote, entirely false and politically motivated. House Speaker Paul Ryan said Nunes made the right choice and continues to have his trust.
It is clear that this process would be a distraction to the House Intelligence Committee's investigation into Russian interference in our election. So Chairman Nunes has offered to step aside as the lead Republican on this particular probe, and I fully support his decision.
The ranking member of the House Intelligence Committee, Adam Schiff, who publicly lambasted Nunes for not briefing the committee about his actions and therefore crippling the committee's investigation, says he's glad it finally came to this.
I just want to express my appreciation for what the chairman decided to do. I'm sure it was a very difficult decision for him. But as he mentioned, I think it is in the best interest of the investigation.
We're going to take it back to our panel. Jamira Burley, Mary C. Curtis, Rashad Robinson, Allison McGevna. I'll start with you, Mary. This seemed like it was a matter of time. The ethics panel began to look into Nunes, and even Paul Ryan said enough's enough.
Yeah, Paul Ryan is happy that particular headache went away. Nunes basically delegitimized himself as an impartial person on the panel, a leader, when he had that little intrigue back and forth with the White House. And basically, Paul Ryan and other Republicans were looking that perhaps the whole House committee would be delegitimized, and they do not want an independent committee to look into it. But you still have folks like Trey Gowdy and others who are now in charge and looking into it. So I think Adam Schiff and other Democrats on the panel are still going to be quite skeptical if they can be impartial.
Does this fix it, Rashad?
Absolutely not. Well, first of all, we don't know what he broke in this process of the back and forth to the White House. But I do want to say for the people who are watching, the people who made phone calls and signed petitions and showed up to town hall meetings, that this is a result of the power that was built from grassroots energy of everyday people raising their voices and saying this is okay. They did not want, the leadership of the Republican Party did not want to do this. Nunes did not want to do this. He's being forced to step aside because they couldn't make this story go away, and that speaks to grassroots energy that made this sort of like complicated international sort of story something that the media had to cover every single day.
We certainly covered the heck out of it. I'm not sure if I understand all the ins and outs of this story. Jamira, are you worried that folks just won't be able to keep up with what's important in this?
I don't think, to your point, I think it's so many different missing pieces and you don't really know what was said, what was provided, what information was leaked to the president in advance of his investigation. But what I will say to Rashad's point is that this has become just a Democratic issue. This is now a bipartisan issue where you have Republicans who are calling their elected officials and saying that we want a clear-cut and a bipartial or a non-partial investigation. And so I think it just goes to show you that you have a much larger population of the American people who are concerned about potential Russia collision with the election.
You know, Allison McGevna, with what's happened this morning in Syria, you got to wonder how many of your viewers are even paying attention to this story anymore.
Yeah, I mean, it just seems, you know, it is truly hard to keep up with all of the things that are happening. And I agree with you that, of course, Syria becomes a big issue and at the forefront of people's minds. But I do think this was an important step. And I think it was great that he, you know, decided to recuse himself. But I agree that I am still very, very concerned about the ability for the committee to really be impartial in this investigation. And it is crucial. And there are connections with all of these problems within the Trump administration. So I think we do have to watch and keep an eye on it. And, you know, it's just something that the American people, it's exhausting to have to keep up with it, but we have to.
And I want to add this one additional piece of wood to the fire, if you will. The New York Times reported this week the CIA told government officials last August, that was 10 weeks before the election, that the Russians were trying to get Trump elected. At the time, the FBI disagreed. Just more fuel to the fire.
It just goes to show you that there's so many different individuals who could have stopped this ahead of time and could have prevented this. But it just also goes to show you that we have a broken system, which is why so many of the American people don't have faith in our government.
Mary C. Curtis.
I do worry, as you say, that we are living in such a short attention span culture that folks see every new headline and then they'll forget about this. And this has real implications for our election system and our democracy going forward. So it's really, truly important that we keep our eye on this.
And we'll hope that at least one of the congressional committees looking into this gets serious and we find out what's at the root of all these problems.
Definitely.
All right, thanks, guys.
A peaceful protest turned deadly. 37-year-old black man was shot and killed by Baton Rouge police. Your hands are in the air and you still get shot by the cops.
Oh my God, please don't tell me he's dead.
We're not going to let hate define us.
Race is a big part of this.
If truly all lives matter, then all lives need to matter equally.
What we require is action. What we require is accountability. We understand that black lives do matter, and we will keep focused on this issue.
NewsOne Now, every weekday morning at 7 on TV1.